Hello, my name is Stephen Alff and welcome back to AlffBooks, and today we are here to talk about the top 5 authors I am most ashamed I haven't read yet. So I guess let's get started. The first author on my list is J.R.R. Tolkien. I mean, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings. How haven't I read them yet? Well, I mean, I tried. I started The Hobbit just a few months ago, and because of classes, college in general, college, exams, I just didn't get that far. So I still haven't gotten further than just 4 chapters, I think, into the book. And I will get further. I will. I just feel ashamed that I haven't. Because for someone who loves fantasy as much as I do, I always feel like when I tell someone, oh, I love fantasy, and they ask me, oh, have you read Tolkien? And I'm like, not yet. And then they're just like, but he's like massive in fantasy, and I'm like, well, I'll get around to it. And so yeah, it's kind of one of those feelings where you're just like, yeah, I need to read them. Although I'm losing all my credit as a fantasy reader otherwise, right? You don't lose your credit. It's just that you may feel that way. Let's move on to the next author, Neil Gaiman. Now, I've heard a lot about Neil Gaiman because one of my friends really likes his work and is constantly telling me about, specifically, actually, the Sandman series. I have to get around to reading though. I don't have the money to buy them. Find a library where they have them. I'm currently in France. Finding them in English, which I want to do, is not going to be possible. So I'm going to have to wait until I get back to Ireland and hope that one of the libraries in Dublin has his books, or some of his books, that I can at least read something by him. Which would be nice, just to get an idea of what his books are like. Because, you know, well, I mean, I should probably get him off the ashamed to not have read yet list. Now, the next author on the list is one that I mentioned recently, and I also mentioned recently that I hadn't read anything yet by, and that is Shakespeare. So I recently mentioned in my TBR video that I hadn't read anything about Shakespeare yet, and I'm kind of like, I really should, because when you ask someone to give you the names of a few classic authors, Shakespeare will always be on their list. It's one of the first authors that people mention to you. It's like, so who's really important in like literature in English? It's like Shakespeare. Obviously I'm exaggerating slightly, but I mean, it is a name that will always come up. And yeah, when you're there and you're like, yeah, I read a lot, and it's like, have you read Shakespeare? Like, no. So you haven't read Tolkien or Shakespeare, and you call yourself a reader? It's like, yes. So yeah, I mean, yeah, need to read Shakespeare. The next author on my list is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Kind of big author, as in, he created Sherlock Holmes. I saw the films, I love the Sherlock series, but I've yet to read any stories with Sherlock in them. And it's just like, I really should. Really should. Sherlock Holmes is a very interesting character. I just like the whole detective aspect to it. So yeah, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, I will get to your Sherlock Holmes stories. I will. And the last author on my list is Anne McCaffrey. Now, she wrote the Pern series, and I have to say I didn't hear about that until more recently, maybe a year or so ago. And the thing is, when I heard of it, I was like, okay, the people who know about this and who read this are like, this is amazing, and world building, and story, and fantasy, and okay, I will have to check it out. And as I haven't read it yet and it's on this list, I haven't actually checked it out properly yet. I know I have it on my TBR list now, but read it yet? It's just like, I have to get around to this all. So that brings us to the end of this video. I would like to know, what authors are you ashamed that you haven't read yet? Authors could be anything. Now, when I say ashamed, take it loosely. Take it as books that I want to read, but that I haven't gotten around to yet, that I kind of slightly feel that if I don't get around to, I might feel like I'm slightly discredited as a reader, but then again, not totally, because I mean, I'm still reading more than most people I know. That kind of book. So, but obviously saying ashamed is way shorter than all of that. So yes, I will leave you with that, I guess. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week with a new video. That's all from me. Bye. Hello, my name is Stephen Alff and welcome back to AlffBooks, and today we are here to do a top 5 tips that I would give you to get over writer's block.